Hey guys, how you doing? So I just want to go through how the UK builds a commercial, and there's kind of a couple of things that really need to be careful of here. So I just want to go over them a little bit in detail and kind of show you. So in the UK, they have a thing called a clock, which as you can see on your screen here, and this is in no way centric to Final Cut Pro 10. This is literally just the clearest, easiest way of showing you. In the timeline, you'll see some black, you'll see the blue. This is going to represent the video of the commercial. And then in the UK, they have a freeze of the last bit of the commercial for 10 seconds. So I've kind of differentiated that by a pink and a blue bit here, but I'll go over it in a second. So for a clock in the UK, you need a thing called a clock, and it needs to be built to this way, which is 3 letters, / 4 letters, 3 numbers, / and 3 numbers. So the 3 numbers at the end will be the duration. The first 3 letters at the front is normally the agency, then it's the product and title, and then the number version on top of that. You need title, product, agency, duration, and a date on there. So some other people will normally put order numbers, they put in the audio, but this is the bare minimum that you need to put into here to get through the system. Now the build is, a commercial can start at 09595000. If you're using Honeycomb, that's what you need. If you're using IMD or AdStream, that can be all zeros. But I like to build them with 095950 at the start, and I'll show you why. So that will go through until it gets to 5624, and then that will shoot down to black. So that's the next active black. And as you see, we've got our waveform over there, our lovely adjustment layer, and our broadcast limits are on there as well. So that's the last active video there, then black, and then the first active is 10 hours. If you go back, that's black, and there's 10 hours. You can see this by your first frame indicator here as well, that this is the start of the commercial. You will go to the end of the commercial, and the last active of that commercial is 2124, because we're working 25 frames a second. You need to make sure that's your last active, and there's my last frame indicator. So the next frame will be at 30, and there's the first frame indicator for 10 seconds. Last indicator is 4924. So the big thing to worry about in the UK is the audio, and it's a very, very interesting way of looking at it, because in the UK it's 6 frames of mute, top and tail. In Australia it's 12 frames, mute, top and tail. The amount of times I've seen people actually just put a full 12 at the front and miss out the back and so forth. So in Final Cut 10 you can actually zoom right up, and I want to kind of show you what would fail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So even though there's such a small amount of audio right there, it would fail. So the next active and the most one you want to go for is 07. So what you'd need to do to here is completely bin this off. So this is where it comes in a very annoyance. If you've got voiceover and music right at the start, that needs to be completely mute there. So the next active audio is at 07. So I could even bring one back, to be fair. So this is why creatively editing the audio is a must. So as you can see here, because in Final Cut you can do in subsampling. So that would be acceptable. And if I go to the end, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I would then bring this back in through here. And that would be my last active. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There it is there. So that would get my audio correct. That would be fine. There'd be 0 dB, well, minus 60 DFS to be precise, at the top and tail. And then what I would do is that I'd take a snapshot of the last frame and I'd freeze that video all the way out. So I believe IMD doesn't require the freeze here, but Honeycomb does and AdStream does as well. There is no black at the end. That is you finished. So to go back over it again, you'd have your clock for 7 seconds or 624. Then you'd start in at 10 hours or 00010. Then you'd do your 6 frames top and tail, and then you'll freeze at the back. So that's the kind of the build of it. Now, I'm not going to go over the minus 23 LUFS and how you need to mix the audio. That's in another episode. I just want to kind of show you very visually how the build is and what this freeze in. Is it audio? Is it muted? How that all works there as well. What I have done as well, which I'll put into the bottom of it, I'll put some presets for Adobe Media Encoder and for Final Cut, is that out of Final Cut, you can now export out a an XD cam, which is great. And I wanted to show you how you name it up as well, because if you put forward slashes in a file name, it sends things barking mad. So the file name, not the slate needs to have forward slashes, but the file name needs to be hyphenated through there. You can put whatever you wish into here. That's completely up to you. All this data is normally not associated with an order, so that's how that gets done. And then you can export this out. I'm going to export this out to the desktop. And I want to show the last, what I love to do for a bit of quality control, because a lot of people normally just spit files out. They look at it and they go, oh, it looks fine, but they don't really do the easy steps. And the two pieces of software I want to kind of call out is Media Info, which is free, and Switch from Telestream. Now, the reason I'm kind of picking on Switch, it is $10 for a basic license, but that will allow you to play XDCam. And more importantly, it'll let you look at the time code as well and actually jog through it. VLC is a bit of a pain. It can play XDCams, but you can't actually do frame by frame correctly, and looking at the time code correctly, it's very cumbersome. So what I would do is that I would shut down Final Cut at that stage. Here's my file here. First step, straight into Media Info. So what I'm looking for here is these ones here. So there's 50 megabits a second. It's 25 frames. It's 2 discrete audios, which is fine. Then I go into the more detailed version. I'm looking for GOP structure here, which is for PAL, which is 3 and 12. I'm also looking down here for interlaced, top field. And I'm looking down here for the time code. So with that preset I'll give you in compressor, it's actually copying what the time code is in Final Cut. And seeing that I made it bespoke to start at 095050, it's copied that attributes across. So in this stage, I'm kind of looking and go, all right, well, it's good. And the last but not least is up here and making sure that the duration is correct. So it is saying 1 minute because that's the full build of a 30-second spot. But what I'm also looking for is any milliseconds in the audio drift, which can also happen. And if you've done that, the RT adjustment layer, if that's gone over a couple of frames, you'd pick it up here. So first stage, that looks good to me. Second stage, I then grab it and throw it in the Switch. Now, Switch works on Mac and PC. One thing I really want to kind of show you down here is the time code. So when you open it for the first time, it comes in here and you go, oh my God, the time code's wrong. You click on here and then it will actually show you the correct time code. I'll then go through and check that it does stop at 5624. Boom, perfect. So that's correct there. Then I'd come through and I'd look at 10 hours, make sure it is sitting there. Sorry for the extremely nice blue. It's very cool, isn't it? So there we go. That's starting in at 10 hours as well. So to me, this is great. And then shoot right to the end and it should be at 24 frames. And there we go. So it's not going to show it at 5000 because it's not showing me the next active physical frame, field, pardon me. So this to me would be a correct file. I'll be very happy with that. With the paid versions of this, it can go a bit over the top. You can actually show audio meters if you want to do plus. Totally up to you if you want to do it. I use one of the expert versions of this, which is quite cool. Opens up all these features. But for just checking it, it's great. I mean, it's a great piece of software. So hopefully that helped, guys. Any problems, please leave comments in below and I'll shoot those templates up. Have a great day.